If you're following the explosion of AI tools right now, it can feel absolutely overwhelming.
It's a lot.
From the big headline grabbers like ChatGPT and Gemini to these super specialized professional tools like Harvey or Spellbook, it just seems like every week there's a new model, a new vendor, a new interface that promises to change everything.
The noise level is just deafening, and I think it obscures a really fundamental truth here, which is that not all of these AI tools are created equal. Many of them are just, specialized wrappers around the exact same core technology.
And that's really what our source material for this deep dive confirms.
It does.
So our mission today is to cut through all of that complexity. We want to give you a clear mental model, a framework, so you can separate the foundational AI engine from the specialized vehicle it's powering.
Right. And crucially, we want to highlight the single most important transferable skill that you need to acquire through all of this.
Because once you understand this hierarchy, what's the general tech and what's the specific application?
And the entire landscape just stops feeling so chaotic, and it really just snaps into clear focus.
Okay, let's unpack this. Let's start with the big picture, the definitions. Yeah. Because these terms get thrown around, sometimes interchangeably. We're talking about generative AI. What is it, really?
Generative AI is the big umbrella category. It just refers to any computer system that is designed to create new content.
New content, so text, images.
Exactly. New text, a new image, new computer code, or, for most professionals, a sophisticated summary or a structured first draft that literally did not exist until the system made it.
So the key word there is originality, right? This isn't just a fancier version of a Google search or looking something up in a database.
Precisely. If you think about traditional software, it behaves more like a calculator or maybe a filing cabinet.
Okay.
You put data in, you get a precise, pre-programmed result out. It's deterministic. Generative AI is probabilistic. It analyzes a massive amount of material and then generates an original output based on the statistical patterns it learned.
So it's the difference between finding a contract you wrote last month
and having the system write a new contract for you from scratch.
Got it. And the engine that's doing all of this, especially for text, is the large language model, the LLM.
That is the core engine. An LLM is software that's been trained on just enormous collections of text.
Books, websites,
court cases, code repositories, you name it. And the most helpful way to think about an LLM is that it's a highly sophisticated prediction engine.
So it's just guessing word by word what comes next.
Exactly. And the large part refers to two things. First, that massive amount of training data. And second, the complexity of the model itself. We're talking billions of parameters.
And what are parameters exactly? That feels like jargon.
It is a bit. Think of parameters as the system's memory. They're the weights and connections that the model stores after it processes all that data. So if you picture the LLM as a brain, the billions of parameters are all the little connections it uses to figure out, given the context, what's the most statistically likely next word.
And from that simple task, just predicting the next word, you get these incredible emergent abilities.
That's the magic. Suddenly it can summarize a 50-page brief, or reason through a problem, or translate languages.
But that's also where the big problem comes in, the crucial caveat. If it's only relying on patterns and not, true human understanding, it can fail pretty spectacularly.
Exactly. We call those hallucinations. And it's important to be clear. A hallucination isn't just a simple mistake, like misspelling a name.
No.
It's a confident falsehood. It's the system recognizing that a citation should go here to complete the pattern of the document, and so it just invents one that looks totally plausible but is completely fictitious.
And our source material made a really strong point about this limitation. The value for a professional isn't raw correctness, because you just can't trust it. Not out of the box.
Not at all. Its value is speed. Pure speed. It obliterates the blank page problem. It can turn a complex request into a structured draft in seconds, but, and this is the important part, human verification is mandatory. The system only deals in probabilities, not in truth.
That liability stays with the professional.
100%.
Okay, so that brings us to the manufacturers. We know what the engine is. It's this powerful probabilistic text predictor. Let's talk about the companies that actually built the main engines everyone is using. Our source material points to a big five.
Right. And we have to start with the market leader, ChatGPT. It's from OpenAI, heavily backed by Microsoft. For a lot of people, this is AI.
It's the baseline, the Swiss Army knife.
Yep.
So if I'm a busy professional, why should I even bother looking at the other four? Why not just stick with the leader?
Because they all have really distinct strengths and personalities, you could say. They're often derived from their specific training data or their architecture. ChatGPT is incredibly versatile. It's strong across the board: coding, reasoning, general drafting.
Okay.
But if you push it on a really niche topic, it can sometimes get a little verbose or generic.
And then, of course, you have the giant that holds all the world's information, Google,
Okay.
and their engine, Gemini.
Gemini is formidable. I mean, it leverages Google's greatest strength, access to current real-time information from the web,
Right.
and its ability to process just vast amounts of data very, very quickly. If you need to research, say, current regulatory changes, or you need to summarize a 500-page PDF in seconds, Gemini often excels. It tends to be very concise and factual.
Here's where it gets really interesting. We mentioned this idea of personality. Let's talk about Claude from Anthropic. This model seems to be all about safety and nuance.
It is. Anthropic was actually founded by former OpenAI employees, and they explicitly wanted to prioritize safety, making the AI helpful, harmless, and honest.
And you can feel that in the output.
You absolutely can. Claude is known for very careful, methodical reasoning and really elegant, nuanced writing.
Yeah.
It's often described as having a, quote, lawyerly tone.
I've heard that. It's like it structures its answers so precisely.
It does. It often anticipates and addresses counterarguments before you even think of them.
And it handles a massive amount of text at once, right?
Yeah.
The context window.
It's a game changer. Currently, models like Claude can process up to 1 million tokens at a time.
1 million. And a token is what exactly? For our listener.
Good question. A token is the basic unit of language for the AI. Think of it as a word fragment, maybe about 4 characters. So 1 million tokens means you could feed it a massive set of documents, basically 2 full-length novels, and ask it questions about all of them at once.
That's incredible for long-form legal work.
Mm.
Okay, moving on, we have Perplexity AI. Now, this one is fascinating because it seems built to fight the very weakness we talked about earlier, hallucinations.
That's its entire value proposition. Perplexity positions itself as an answer engine, and it's built for research and traceability. Unlike the others, its main job is to search the live web and then automatically cite and link to its sources as it generates the answer.
So if you need to verify where the information is coming from.
Perplexity is the model focused on trust. It's concise, it's citation-driven, and it feels like this perfect hybrid of a search engine and a chatbot.
And rounding out the 5, we have Grok from XAI and Elon Musk, which is tightly integrated with X, formerly Twitter.
Grok is the newest and definitely the most idiosyncratic. Because it's connected to that real-time stream of X data, it's tuned to current events, trending topics, and it is incredibly fast.
And its style is different.
Very different. It's casual, it's direct, often less filtered. Sometimes it's humorous or edgy. It's sort of the informal model of the group.
So we have the versatile generalist in ChatGPT, the factual researcher in Gemini, the nuanced analyst in Claude, the citation engine with Perplexity, and the real-time provocateur, Grok. 5 very different personalities.
They are, but, and this is the key point, the core interaction, prompt, generate, refine, is fundamentally the same across all of them.
And that's the perfect bridge.
Yeah.
Because that fact leads us directly from these general engines to the specialized vehicles.
Exactly.
When we hear about cutting-edge legal AI tools, Harvey, CoCounsel, Spellbook, all the others, there's this assumption that they've built their own AI brain from the ground up.
Right. But the source material reveals this core economic reality that just dictates everything.
Which is?
Building a state-of-the-art LLM like GPT-4 or Claude 3 costs hundreds of millions of dollars. It requires computing power that almost no one outside of the Big 5 has. So these specialized legal tools do not build their own LLMs from scratch.
They can't. They're structurally dependent. They license or use one or more of those Big 5 models as their underlying engine.
It is the perfect analogy. The LLM is the engine, but the legal AI platform is the complete vehicle built around that engine. And the value isn't in the engine itself, it's in all the specialized features they add to the vehicle.
I just want to pause on that for a second. That economic reality means this entire specialized tech sector is structurally dependent on the decisions and the pricing set by a tiny number of companies.
Absolutely. It totally reframes where you should focus your attention. So let's look at what justifies these specialized platforms. What makes the vehicle so valuable? The source material details 5 crucial layers they add on top of the raw engine.
The first, and maybe the most important for professional liability, is guardrails.
Guardrails are essential. We talked about hallucinations, right? These confident falsehoods.
Yeah, inventing cases.
Specialized platforms explicitly program the AI to prevent it from doing that. They hardwire professional standards into the output. They also add structure and templates. That's layer 2. So they have pre-built workflows for legal tasks like drafting discovery requests.
And layer 3 is integration, connecting the AI to where lawyers already do their work.
Yes, this is where the power is. The platforms connect the LLM to legal research databases like Westlaw or Lexis, and to internal document systems. So the engine is now reading with perfect context.
Then there's domain-specific training.
Right, which isn't retraining the whole model. It's more like fine-tuning it on things like legal citation formats or matter-specific prompts to make it feel like a legal specialist.
And finally, the layer that really dictates adoption in the corporate world, security and compliance.
This is non-negotiable. It's paramount for client confidentiality, and it's often the main reason firms buy these tools instead of just letting everyone use public ChatGPT.
So the data isn't used to train the public models?
Never. These applications run the engine in a secure, controlled environment with all the access controls and data governance that legal IT departments demand.
So when a professional uses a tool like Harvey, they're actually using an application that takes their prompt, wraps it with all this security and legal context, routes it through an engine like GPT or Claude, and then gives them a result that's already been pre-vetted.
That's the perfect encapsulation, and it brings us to the final mental model for how you should think about this whole ecosystem.
We can basically categorize every tool into 3 buckets. First, the general-purpose LLM, the big 5. Powerful, but, unspecialized.
Second, the legal-specific AI application, those vehicles we just talked about, built with workflows and guardrails. And the third, which kind of overlaps with the second, is the closed domain or enterprise secure system.
That closed domain category, that sounds crucial for client trust.
It is. Closed domain just means the AI focuses only on a specific set of content, your firm's secure documents, your internal knowledge base. The critical part is that your client data never leaves your secure environment. And what's really fascinating now is that the best modern platforms use a general LLM engine, but run it securely on this private internal data. You get the best of both worlds.
Which brings us to the key takeaway for you, the learner. Why bother getting good at one of the big 5, one of the general engines, if you're just going to end up using a specialized tool anyway?
Because the core skill set is completely portable. The interaction pattern is identical across the entire ecosystem. You prompt, the system responds, you iterate.
It's the same conversation.
It's the same conversation. Developing proficiency in one general engine gives you 80 to 90% of the mental toolkit you need for every other AI tool, no matter how flashy the interface is. You're learning how to drive, not how the engine was built.
So the foundational skill isn't learning a model's name. It's mastering the art of prompt engineering.
Absolutely. And that involves 3, I would say, non-negotiable professional steps. First, you have to set up the prompt effectively, define the role for the AI, like act as a litigation partner, set the constraints.
Like bullet point only, cite every source, keep it under 300 words.
Perfect. And clearly state the goals. Summarize the 3 major counterarguments and their risks.
The powerful engines are known, and they all work pretty much the same way.
Right. And understanding this hierarchy generative AI as the category, LLMs as the statistical engine, the big 5 as the main engines, and legal AI tools as the secure applications on top it gives you the framework to evaluate any new tool without getting lost in the hype.
Which leads to our final provocative thought.
These AI tools are sophisticated pattern matching systems. They are not magic. The professionals who will benefit most from AI are not the ones who delegate everything to the machine, but the ones who deeply understand both its tremendous capabilities and its inherent limitations. The ones who maintain the human judgment and critical oversight required to thoughtfully integrate that output into their own high standards of practice.